I needed that. What's that? I think there are hidden foes ahead.
In the name of the goddess, halt! Who goes there? In that case, you can rest easy, Hunter. There is no source to be found here, only the glory of the Immaculates. Why, it's Silver Glen, of course. Once the abode of miners, now the abode of the faithful. We have traded the search for silver for the pursuit of divinity. I'm sure this sounds strange in what as strange as is, but you must know that but a short while ago, a frightful sickness felled us by the dozen, until she who speaks for the goddess brought us a cure. She showed us how we may overcome the frailty and even the decrepitude of our mortal bodies. That is why we now live a life of devoutness and civility, so that we may become immaculate. But I suggest you talk to Father Loik if you want to learn more about the ways of the goddess. Be welcome, therefore, to Silver Glen. Blessed be all Immaculates.
The Immaculates here seem to be a friendly enough bunch.
Seem being the operative word. Let's remain vigilant.
Wait! Stop! Can it be? A source hunter? Oh, my fortune, my fate! I am saved! They're coming for me. They know I've escaped, and they won't stop until they've sliced me in two and corrupted my corpse with darkness. The cult, the dark heart of the Immaculates, the corrupted few who lead their trusting converts upon a path paved with source. Oh, they won't stop until they've silenced me. And worse, I am Samid, once a humble miner, once a devoted Immaculate, now a refugee in flight from both religion and home. I once counted myself among their most faithful. Such a devotee to the Immaculate Way was I, that I rose swiftly through its ranks, became privy to each of the esoteric rituals of the Immaculate method. But in time, I discovered too much. When I was granted access to Sacred Stone, the most protected Immaculate village, I watched with horror as our enlightened leaders unabashedly performed darkest source magic. I immediately reported this corruption to our highest priest, Lady Attenbearer. I'll never forget her laugh, mirthless and savage. She was one of them. A sorcerer! I escaped that terrible place as quickly as my feet could fly. And now, you must do what I cannot. You must end the darkness that has consumed the Immaculate Way. The source that corrupts it. To gain access to that nest of vipers, you'll have to become one of us. One of them, that is. Speak to Loik, the Immaculate Abbot of the village to the north. Silver Glen, it's called. He'll be only too eager to gain another convert, and only the initiated are granted access to Sacred Stone. The witch? Why, her cabin is only a short walk from here. Look, I'd always heard tell that she, the strange and silent keeper of Luculla, was a sorcerer herself. Though now I see that, if that were true, the Immaculates will be working with, not against her. As it stands, the conduit herself ordered that the witch be contained at all costs. I know not why, but any enemy to this band of demons is a friend to all else. Source Hunter, in the name of the innocent Immaculates, those unaware of the fanged head that leads them, I pray you will expose the truth. So many of us sought only spirit. We had no idea what we'd be asked to sacrifice in return.
My friend, did you hear? That man said the one called Attenborough is nearby. We must find this village, Sacred Stone. I am certain Jarrett has been taken there. And if it is where Attenborough rules, it seems these Immaculates are not all as I have heard.
The degenerates here claim they have been cleansed. But I can still smell the stink of persisting putrescence wafting from their grimy flesh. Silver Glen. This place sickens me. As you know, I once carried the burden of disease upon emaciated shoulders. Perhaps I had better explain in greater detail. So I shall. Once upon a time, I was a king in a land of beauty to the east. A land of tigers and slender towers, of deserts and forests, of sun and all the world's wealth. I was a young king, handsome and all-powerful. Every nobleman would have killed his own brother if I promised to take his daughter's hand in marriage. But I refused their incessant implorations. I knew my life as a sovereign would be self-indulgent, but also a self-delusory one, if I weren't to marry for love. And so a handful of years went by. The king's throne I myself occupied, whereas the queen's throne remained empty but for the court's cats that would nap the afternoons away upon its velvet cushions. But then one day, a young woman visited my kingdom. She was a poetess and a storyteller. People flocked to her, listened to her every word as if receiving mantras from the divines. I invited her to my palace, and soon our days, our nights, our love and our lives intertwined. It went like this, Hunter. If a ghoul I had become, so a dark turn of thought convinced me, a ghoul's methods I should employ to escape the labyrinthian crypt of corporeal corruption. A necromancer I'd be. Yes, only from deep within the deliriums of death would I tunnel my way back into the gardens of life. I did unspeakable things in the dusky dungeons that twist like forgotten veins to long-deceased organs far beneath my castle's sunlit halls. Halls which held my throne and held the bed upon which Heraka slept, her very touch blessing the satin she reposed upon. Still there came no relief. versions I created in scores, but they were mere undead all. Creatures so piteous that the thought of cheating death in their guise frightened me more than the swing of the scythe itself. Like mosquitoes in the night, panic and despair beset me until I turned to that darkest of all arts, demonology. It had to be. There was no other way. I could feel the life slipping out of me like love out of a betrayed spouse's heart. So I studied tomes so old the dust that fell from their centuries' unperused pages never knew the light of the stars that now shine. I drew forbidden symbols. I spoke unhallowed words, and from the smoke that rose like a dragon's last breath, a demon appeared to me and said, "Ask, O blighted king, and you shall have." "Just tell me," I cried. "Tell me what ails me." Hiraka. Never had I known a single word can cut deeper than the sharpest of daggers. With maddening glee, the demon told me she was one of his kin. A soul-swallowing horror that had been feeding on both my body and my spirit like a leech. An ancient being was she, that moved from king to king throughout the ages, filling their hearts with love, then draining them of life. After such revelations, does one truly desire to live on? Death seemed like a mother then, welcoming me with her all will be well embrace. Yet still I feared exceedingly her seemingly sweet caress, and the oblivion that would follow. Release me from her, demon, and give me back the strength of a sick, free existence. So went my desperate plea. It smiled, of course it did. Smiled bare 100 razors as its eyes came alight with infernal fire. 1,000 years I will give you, it whispered. But then your soul shall be mine to incarcerate in the depths of hellish nemesis. As for your throne, that I'll have now. What say you, O brittle king? Do you accept my terms? I think you know the answer to that question, Hunter. But I've said enough for now. These memories are painful to recollect, so let us turn to the rest of them later. Of course you do. Yes, it stems from her, the betrayer of betrayers. Oh, you may think me a fool for forswearing love after a single instance of deception, but such was its intensity on my part, that even centuries cannot undo her sting. Time heals all wounds, a lie if ever there was one. More prey awaits.
Well, well, well. So our very own demon hunter once dabbled in the so-called darkest of arts himself.
A man so utterly betrayed and dying will grasp at any straw. I can hardly blame him.
Neither can I. Clearly his great love was almost the very death of him. She broke his heart in more ways than one, and I too would go to any length to repair it.
world is not immaculate as yet, friend. Be wary. Be vigilant.
Beware of the lost ones out there, Wanderer. Their blood is impure.
If these villagers ever find out what Lawrence did, it's curtains for him.
Aren't your feet tired? Because you've been running through my mind all day. Me? I'm Ramon! I may not be a genie, but rub me right and I'll make your dreams come true. Even true love has a price, angel face. Luckily for you, that price is but 250 golden coins. So it is! But let's make sure there's a fireman standing by. Because, baby, you are smoking.
Amazing! Our kind can remain in heat all year, it seems.
So we can. Such are our great carnal powers. That's all. Folly. Synonyms, really.
You there! Back off! Bicky Boom! One more step and Bicky Boom!
No, don't go! Please help me! That thing is keeping me trapped here! It's crazy! It'll kill me!
Calm down. We're not coming any closer. Let's just talk about this.
Yes, don't worry, miss. We'll get you out of this fix somehow.
Princess keep her trap shut or Bicky Boom! No folks, shoo or Bicky Boom! Last warning or Bicky Boom!
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. You saved my life. It was that cur of a Frederick that did this to me. He locked me in here with that ridiculous creature.
Dear me, I need to get out of this room. Yes, I'll go downstairs to catch a breath of fresh air, but do come and talk to me again if you want to hear more about what transpired here. My thanks once more, sweet hero.
you are, Cuddles. Oh, where have you been all my life? What we do here is between you and me, lover. So tell your friend to leave us, would ya? There you are, well, it seems I've got you right where I want you, darling. If you're ready to begin, I'll start by stripping you down. I want to see you in the raw. How does that sound? Ready and eager. Well, the question is, are you ready, Source Hunter? Are you prepared to face the repercussions of your heinous crimes against the goddess? She delivered us from rot and from all that is unholy in this cruel world. She of the source, and you would have her head, would you not? You've trained all your life to seek out and destroy that great power. Destroyer of source, defiler of all that is holy, face your judgment in the name of the conduit. Still lost one. I fear this might hurt quite a bit. I wouldn't complicate things by thrashing about. There you are, well, the quest she the destroyer of still lost one. I fear this might hurt. I wouldn't complicate things by thrashing about.
Into the fray once more.
As good as a new man.
Oh, my hero! My heart is still racing. That little monster's face haunts me every time I so much as blink.
Bonnie's my name, and I am, or rather I was, a lover for hire. Folks would come to me when they were in need of some company, conversation, and more intimate desires.
But this fiasco has put an end to it. I'll never set another foot into a client's room, not on my life.
Yes?
Search me. He's a regular of mine. With rather eccentric tastes, I might add. He always wants me to wear a grey wig, for example, and walk with a cane. But I digress. Anyway, he recently spent the night again, and I couldn't sleep because of his muttering. He talked something awful all through the night. In the morning, I told him he had gone on and on about some Maradino character and a supposedly secret treasure lair somewhere in the woods. Next thing I knew, he flew into a rage, said the treasure was his and his alone, and that I was nothing but a meddling care. I was just about to let him know I won't stand for such language when he pulled that monster of a bicky out of his satchel and told the little gnome to guard the princess and to go boom if I tried to escape. I spent hours of horrid fear up in that room until you saved me. Nothing much, I'm afraid, but go ahead. I'll answer what I can. I used to, you know. Merchants came and went. They paid well and gave me gifts. Fewer and fewer of them travel here now because of the undead around Seal and the goblins holed up in the mines. Times are hard for a working girl, to tell you the truth. But where would I go? There's danger to be found everywhere these days. These bedeviled days. I haven't been immaculate for a long time now, darling. And if I see what passes for immaculate here in town, I don't want to join the club anew either. Give me fun, not fanaticism. Give me zeal, not zealotry. These people, I honestly don't know what has gotten into them.
I am on the trail, Source Hunter.
A little word of warning, traveller. The lands to the north are dangerous. Creepy crawlies as large as trolls over there.
That world-weary face is giving me shivers. What you say we take a load off together? I do suppose I could find some way to entertain you. Oh, sugar, that's a story for another day, ain't it? Speaking of, yours and mine has hardly begun. What say we get better acquainted upstairs? I've got all kinds of, details to share with you. Oh, go right ahead, sweetheart. Darling, I don't hardly recognise this place no more. Everything's changed since those silly Immaculates came into vogue. The miners. They used to spend their last penny on a backwards glance from yours truly. But now, they'd rather pray than play. Ugh, I just don't understand it. They just stand around and praise the so-called goddess all day long. I've no idea who she is, but apparently she gets her kicks from having blood sprayed all over her. Now, I knew a girl once who was into that kind of stuff. Her clients used to call her goddess and mistress too, but there was precious little divine about her.
My, look at you! I bet your blood'd fill a bloodstone good and proper.
Source Hunter, you've made it into the hamlet of Silverglen, I see. Unnerving spot, don't you find? Leandra has fashioned herself a hero here, but the townsfolk don't seem to know the truth behind the conduit, though they call themselves Immaculates. They're thick as trout, if you ask me, and unnaturally obsessed with ancient teachings. I haven't seen Leandra here myself, but she must have put on quite a show of magical mastery to enthrall a crowd of shaggy miners, to have them hop on the bandwagon of a shadowy religion wholly alien to them. Haven't you heard them whisper of the blood? How their eyes shine when they discuss certain stellar stones? Star stones, of course, which drenched in blood become bloodstones and are used in healing rituals. Now, I can see how it could be a fantastic thing to nurse a dying human back to health, if all it takes is to sacrifice a toad. But I spy bloodlust in these people's eyes. A bloodlust that goes beyond the usual meaning of the word. They all act like they're following a benign goddess that will lead them to paradise. But I'll be a dappled Dalmatian if any of that is true. I've been shadowing the local priest, a man by the name of Loic. I have the feeling he knows more than most in Silverglen, for I've followed him in the night when he meets with cloaked strangers, and goblins even. Mangoth, Hyberheim, of strange things I've heard him whisper. Yes, this priest has shady goings-on written all over that smug, holier-than-thou face of his. But we must start at the beginning, Source Hunter. The White Witch is still at large. If we want to get to the true heart of Leandra's doings, we must start with her sister. And she's far likelier to be in her cabin among the trees than here among Leandra's followers. The advantage of being a puss, my friend, is that one can pussyfoot. A white-haired wizard draws attention, but a cat can move about unnoticed and, indeed, unseen. Not that I'm not extra wary of these bloodsuckers, though. There's a conspicuous absence of pets in this eerie little town. The Immaculate's presence here is highly disconcerting. But we mustn't lose sight of our mission, Source Hunter. The White Witch resides somewhere in the wilds of the surrounding forest, and we must find her.
Welcome be, O seeking souls, to this holy house of Immaculates.
Give me the strength, O goddess, to become enlightened.
Let me spill blood for thee, O Holy One!
Diligently will I read the words of the goddess.
Blessed be the goddess, and blessed be the conduit.
Let me spill blood for thee, O Holy One! Diligently will I read the words of the goddess!
Immaculate I want to be. The blood of the lost will flow.
I am Loic, enlightened one among Immaculates, spokesman for the holy conduit, as she is spokesman for the goddess herself. Hers is the blood. Then it shall be my pleasure to answer them. We are the chosen ones of the goddess. The benedictions of the blood render our bodies and spirits unblemished, for such is her mercy, that we may all become part of the sacred soul. And you too, Seeker, could become one such part. You find yourself in the goddess's temple, therefore it follows she wants you to take the true path. So here, have this hallowed tome, read it, absorb the wisdom within, then find the second part and do with it the same. If an immaculate you want to be, a test of knowledge shall be your first step towards enlightenment. The conduit, yes. She, the most exalted of all, second only to the goddess. It was she who brought us first her divine words, then her divine will, a will made real in blood. Truly, though, she is quite beyond your concern, O wandering soul. She stands so very high above your humble station. The goddess is the light and life of all. Corrupt is the world that generations of men and beasts have left behind, but immaculate it may be once more, cleansed in the blood of the unworthy. The few, the proud, the enlightened, theirs will be her kingdom. When red has run until no red is left, a paradise we will have shapen, and the goddess will dwell among us. Do you hold it to be true, O Seeker, that you are ready to be tested? A most sacred trio of queries shall I put before thee, but even if thou falterest but a single time, unworthy will thou be deemed of the goddess's love. Your unpreparedness disappoints me. But an immaculate is not born, he is made. Made you may yet be, through study, devotion, and diligence.
Give me the strength, O goddess, to become enlightened.
Remember, O brothers and sisters, O seeking souls, the miracles with which the blessed conduit rid our mean and mangled bodies of the rot that plagued it. Miracles we deem them no longer, no. Infinitely greater we now know them to be. They are the blessings of the goddess wrought in action. The goddess is the word. Then it shall be my pleasure to answer them. Do you hold it to be? Blessed be your willing spirit. We commence.
Holy One.
Premise the first. In honor of the goddess, that which was stellar must become sanguine. Correct?
Incorrect.
Yes, that is incorrect.
Premise the second. The blood of the greater should be used in service of the lesser so that balance may be achieved. Correct?
Correct.
Agreed. That is correct.
Premise the third. Only those who have partaken in the spilling of blood and thereby created the stone that lives, the stone soaked with blood, may be called an immaculate. Correct?
Correct.
Agreed. That is correct.
Your knowledge has been weighed, and you have been found wanting. Begone, aspirant, and do not return until true wisdom has dawned upon the dark provinces of thy heart.
Words of the goddess!
Let me spill blood for thee, O Holy One.
Diligently will I read the words of the goddess.
Immaculate I want to be. The blood of the lost will flow.
Blood for thee, O Holy One.
Premise the first. In honor of the god...
Correct.
Agreed.
Premise the second.
Yes, that is incorrect.
Premise the...
Correct.
Agreed.
Most gratifying. Oh, yes, most exemplary indeed. You have understood the words of the goddess, and I deem you worthy of her true test, of the true trial that shall make you an immaculate.
Blessed be the goddess.
Immaculate I
and
want
blessed
to
be the
The blood
conduit.
of the lost
We are the
will-
chosen one, the conduit, yes. The goddess is the light, the few, the proud, the enlightened. To become an immaculate, you must experience both the goddess's bane and her boon. Leave Silver Glen and take the western path. Follow it to where the winds howl and a great skull looms within the rocks. There you will find it, the hollow and the true trial within. Immaculate guards bar the way, but tell them you have my blessing and they shall let you pass. But take utmost care, the road is beset with horrors, and your mettle will be truly tested before you've even set foot within the goddess's trial. It would behoove you to train in advance of setting upon that treacherous path.
Farma Malbenita, a source hunter in Silver Glen. I have traveled mile on top of mile to find help, and now help has, how you say, appeared from skinny vapors. My story, well, this is no small tale. I think perhaps you will be more interested in the, how you say, the short end of stick. I believe Lawrence, the leader of mining guild, tell my husband and many of other workers to mine deadly ore called tenebrium. Lawrence knew that this ore caused rot. Charming name, no? Yet ordered miners to continue. Many men, my Ben among them, become the sickness. And now they, how you say, kick down the bucket. But the sickness, it is not normal. It kills swift and terrible, not unlike sores. My son Sebi and I travel from our home to find truth, but this has proven not so easy. My sweet little Pomargo Vizago, my darling Ben, we got along like, how you say, peas and ferrets. But here there is work, very well paid, in mines, clearing special rock from Silver Mine. So he leaves Sebi and I to come to Silver Glen. We wait with hearts like stones for some months. And one day we see familiar figure moving with strange steps on path toward cottage. We run to meet him and take him into our arms, but he collapses at our touch. We help him inside and set him to rest. But he was in terrible condition. Each hour he grow worse, rot so fast we hardly recognize him after 2 short days. He slip away from us, and we bury him with much grief. When his father die, Sebi become restless. Being of the age, he join army and go straight to front line. Though I was nearly old woman, I join army as healer to be near and look after my boy. There we saw special legionnaire using strange weapon. And this legionnaire soon come to my tent with the same disease that killed Ben. I discovered the tenebrium ore in this weapon. It was the ore that killed them both. I come to Silver Glen to discover truth, and here I find Lawrence, that arrogant man, conducts his business without apologize to any. Exactly this. Please, Source Hunter, you must help me prove that Lawrence made his workers to mine deadly tenebrium. For your help, I offer blessing from my homeland. Se vi mal successos, mi planto serizzarbo cae tormenti via nepo soggiai branco. Translation is difficult, but it means something like, if you fail, I will plant cherry tree and haunt your grandbaby beneath branches. Good luck. I will do my best to give answer, Source Hunter. Nothing natural could cause such terrible disease at mere touch. If you ask me, I say dark magic, maybe even source at its root. That foul thing! I have not found scrap of civilization among these apes. Sebi longs for heaping plate of my famous sire mule, but the local fairs support no fine food, unless squirrel meat inspire you. As for neighbors, well, those cultists would rather sacrifice supper to goddess than eat it. May Zalmoxis strike him down, the murderer! I have one goal in Silver Glen, to make him share in the suffering he caused. I am certain he has gained from making those miners take the tenebrium. Now I have only to prove it. I have no interest in those emasculates and their goddess. As Zalmoxis say in Book of Holy, I am jealous God. Why can I not read your mail if you have nothing to hide? Who is Aunt Sherry exactly? Aren't I enough for you? A terrible disease. It transformed flesh of living into flesh of corpse. while infected person still lives. Arms grow black and heavy, legs grow black and heavy, hair rots from scalp. Cielo help min! Oh, what memories I have. This illness, this rot, it sounds very much like the disease that came to Home Forest.
Then the ballads were right. Blight knows no borders, and from death takes its orders.
Hello and welcome to our shop. I am the son of the proprietor, Nadia. Please let us know how we can help you. You've probably noticed that my mother Nadia and I aren't from around here. No. We traveled rather far from our hometown to plant new roots here in Silver Glen. My father, Ben, his death was somewhat mysterious, and we've traced the puzzle back to this little settlement. My mother will have plenty to say on that subject, if you're interested. Ma's a bit intense, to be sure. Set in her ways, but fiercely loyal to the family. Help her out and you've got a friend for life. Cross her, and you'll be better off skipping town. Not that that'll stop her from cursing your line for the next 1,000 cycles of bendis. My father was a good man, equal in character to his wife. His death nearly destroyed us, Ma and me. But now we're here, and we won't leave until we've held the proper parties accountable for their role in his death.
Do a salutoin, Hunter. What can I do for you?
Into the fray once more!
Goblins will slice us to ribbons if we approach the bridge.
Unacceptable. I want those goblins out of my mind by yesterday. Send another man. As many as it takes.
We haven't enough men among us to take on even a few of them, sir.
Are you deaf? I said I want those goblins out! Make it happen, even if you have to spear Drexis yourself. A source hunter! My liege, I am at your disposal. I am Lawrence, the representative of the mining guild responsible for operations in Silver Glen. Please, valiant hunter, let us know how we can assist you. Oh, I am no one special. Merely a humble servant of the guild and shepherd to the happy flock of miners within this settlement. My only cause for complaint, Your Grace, are these awful goblins. They're starving us out, refusing even a single honest miner his right to work. Perhaps, my most upright highness, you might be able to help us with this little problem. You must forgive me if I become somewhat overcome when discussing it, my liege, to think how I've been betrayed. To think how the humble miners of Silver Glen suffer. I invited a tribe of goblins to assist us in clearing the tenebrium from our mine, you see. The leader of the troop, a certain spitting Satan named Drexis, promised to clear the tenebrium and be gone. When the job was done, though, he and his band of totem-brained fiends refused to vacate. They've kept close guard of the bridges to the mine since, and they'll slice whoever dares approach them into ribbons. These goblins follow Drexis like lemmings, Your Grace, and if only I could undo the traitor, they'd slither back to the swamp they crawled from. Drexis's head on my mantle would save countless miners from a slow starvation, my liege. What's one goblin over countless disenfranchised workers? Preposterous. What does that foreigner know about the affairs of Silver Glen? You do best to do as I do, my liege, and turn a deaf ear to her insane accusations. Please, Your Grace, I am completely at your disposal. Those brutes! I invited them here to save our valued miners from the ill effects of clearing tenebrium, and those interlopers met my invitation with a hostile takeover. They haven't allowed a single human miner past them in months, and meanwhile my men have all but forgotten their vocation and turned instead to their damned religion. Useless stuff, my liege. Worse than common dirt. But 10 times as difficult to extract and infinitely more dangerous. If only we'd known in advance the terrible effect rot would have, we would have stopped trying to clear it immediately. Yes, a dreadful business that. I've been fortunate enough to avoid the sickness so far, my liege, but my heart truly breaks for the families of those who've been afflicted. You see, my liege, when a miner has been overlong exposed to tenebrium, he begins showing certain symptoms. Gangrene about the extremities, fatigue, malaise. At first, we attributed these symptoms to, well, to poor diet, laziness, and general malingering. Had we known then what we've since discovered, we never would have continued operations. But alas, mistakes were made, and those we lost can never be brought back, no matter what that crackpot conduit would have one believe. My liege, you ought not to concern yourself with the fraudulent leader of a crackpot cult. Really, the whole affair is an utter embarrassment to Silver Glen. Some insane huckster calling herself the conduit of the goddess made her way to Silver Glen at the height of the rot's hold on our miners. The people were desperate, you see. When by magic or illusion she managed to cure a handful of them of the affliction, every last one of the bunch began speaking of her as though she were some messiah. Now most of the town is taken with her little cult of immaculates, as she calls them. Fortunately for her, she disappeared shortly after her little trick. Or I would have thrown her into prison and swallowed the key myself. Imagine hypnotizing an entire town with nothing more than snake oil. Ah, yes. Ben. Of course, one of our many noble miners, Your Grace. A smallish man. I believe he's around here somewhere, isn't he? Enough to know the whole institution has been a blight on productivity. With the blessings of the conduit to replace a sense of a job well done, the miners care hardly at all for getting the mines back in good working order.
Daemon Daemonium Mop.
Troll toll! Troll toll, if you please. It may be pointless, life may be pointless, but the toll needs to be paid. How could it be? My life is like the bridge behind me. It goes nowhere. Loneliness such as this, how it weighs, how it burdens. Dear me, why? I stand here day and night. Humans hate me, for I must take their gold for no good reason at all. Even among my own I find no companionship. Troll toll is all they think about. Once, though, I was happy. A girl, one of your very own kind, used to pass by daily. She was bright and young and gay. She smiled. She bade me good morning. She told me about the dreams that had come to her in the night, but then she left for a faraway land. She is gone, and I have been lonely ever since. Oh, if only a jolly young girl would come to talk to me once more. It's all the goblins' fault. They cut the ropes to prevent you humans from going to the mines below. Ropeless, pointless, and yet I must cry for toll. We ask for toll because our king commands us to. He is mad for gold. All his senses crave it. Gold is his life, and therefore it is my life too. Even though I care more for the daisies in the fields than I could ever care for cold, dead metal, no matter how pretty its lustre. He is the king of Lucula Forest, and a most formidable troll indeed. I do not even like to talk about him, for fear he might find out and crush my skull like a walnut. Archibald, though, Archibald may be willing to speak. His fine mind makes him bold. Find Archibald, a proud troll and troll father, if you wish to know about the king. 1,000 gold coins, such is the toll I must ask. So, let's have the troll toll, if you please.
Fine, here's the toll.
After all, we'll hardly miss 1,000 coins.
The toll has been paid, and I thank you for it. From the heart of my bottom, I apologise that you have paid good money to cross a broken bridge. Leave me, like she left me, my bonny lass. Would that another would come. Would that another would come and ask, "How are you, Fumble?"
Your goddess above.
Next
Have you
time
ever
you
seen
must
a creature
introduce
more
me to your
pathetic than
handsome
Fumble?
friend. His musk dominates the breeze most pleasingly.
I don't know what kind of trysts you had in that home forest of yours, girl. But it's a very good thing you left when you did.
In her holy name, halt! You shall not tread upon this immaculate road! Has rot taken your ears? I say this is an immaculate road. Only those blessed with like sanction may pass here. Ah, you have passed the test. That means you must be on your way to the true trial. Congratulations, Initiate. You are more than welcome to proceed. Be on your guard, though, for vicious creatures crawl upon the sands. Find the Skull of Stone, but don't stray any further unless you wish to face foes greater than those that haunt most dreamscapes. There's no shame in preparing for the goddess's trial with a careful hand, my future friend. Heed my words. You do well to try your strength in lesser combat before facing what lies beyond this point.
Goddess be with you, knowledgeable one.
An immaculate day to you. If you come seeking the goddess, keep to the northern route. If you've come seeking certain death, any number of horrors will happily assist you.
An immaculate day to you. If you come seeking the goddess, keep to the northern route. If you come seeking certain death, any number of horrors will happily assist you.
An immaculate day to you. If you come seeking the goddess, keep to the northern route. If you've come seeking certain death, any number of horrors will happily assist you.
I suppose we'll be spared the troll toll this time around.
Better a toll than being spun into dinner.
Tempest of dust. What happened to the lush forest?
Like hauling an anchor!
These high plains seem a far more treacherous landscape.
Out of the way, human scum! Your stink is making my eyes sting! I wouldn't make an enemy of Kadraska's pigskin unless you fancy being swarmed by the legions of eight-legged friends I have at my beck and call. If you're not interested in purchasing the finest goblin wares in Rivellon, I'd prefer to go somewhere your stench can't insult me. Yes, Pigskin, they run this territory, except the goblin village, of course. But I can no fool how to deal with the Spider Queen. Quite a valuable piece of knowledge in these parts, as you'll come to find out. Though I suppose a sack of gold, the weight of 1,300 coins, might put me in the mood to share. Hunter, you can't blame a business goblin for trying. Here's what I know. The Spider Queen is not so different from any other monarch. That is to say, rat belly, that she loves a little sweet talk. Out of the way, human scum! Your stink is making my eyes sting!
Better than to poison itself with goblin flesh.
It's strange, Pigskin, how one so rank but you answer your... If this particular stock is fresh... Right. The mighty rat belly can't stomach a little wind and dust. It pleases me to report that the only way out is through, and I don't know many outsiders who've seen the other side of the Tempest.
Oh! Oh my, oh my, oh my.
You can speak! Oh dear. Oh gracious. Oh, Ralphie, Ralphie, Ralphie. This is your luckiest day of days. Psst. Friend, you must help me. Oh goodness. Oh dear, I beg you. This goblin you see before me, my so-called master, is a cruel and ruthless beast. This may be my only chance to seek help, so I won't waste a moment. Friend, if you have a shred of decency in your bones, you must kill this goblin. Please, I must be free. And if you'll help me, I'll help you. I know all there is to know about the goblins of Luculla, and I know their greatest weakness too. A secret I'll happily share once I'm free from this goblin's claws. Please, kill the brute.
Or I'll pick the flesh from your hide. Move it.
We bear this goblin no grudge and cannot do him harm.
To kill him without provocation would be murder indeed.
Alas, alas, my friend, you must reconsider. This beast has kept me captive for longer than I can remember. I can't bear the lash once more.
Move it, you idiot beast. Or I'll pick the flesh from your hide.
Sigurd's beard, I've been slowed.
I don't have the right tool for mining.
Welcome, initiates, to the Corridor of Bane. Here begins the prelude to purification. Advance and accept what is coming to you.
Help! I'm lost! I was trying to get to the hidden Immaculate Village. Is this the way?
Look at the floor. The stone is black as night.
Sinister place, this corridor of bane.
It's a trap! Oh, I don't feel so good.
Welcome, initiates, to the Chamber of Burdens. Only those who can balance the weights of knowledge will see the walls of ignorance evanesce afore their eyes.
Look at the floor. The stone is black as night.
Sinister place, this corridor of bane.
My very blood feels. Oh, I don't feel so good.
Welcome, initiate.
This seems to be broken.
This seems to be broken.
can continue further down this dungeon.
Welcome, initiates, to the Hall of Vigilance. Observe, bear witness, or brave the biting shades of failure.
But they also say that rats are lost ones, whatever that means.
On the mend.
knife and let it plunge into the lost.
Welcome, Initiate.
This seems to be broken.
Go on! Like all the rest, then. Bleed that hen and make your precious bloodstone. You'll get your due comeuppance.
Said the goddess, the blood is the life. Free art thou to kill this lesser, for its soul is lost and impure. With its blood, better thyself, and
Go
in
away,
time
please,
thou
go
too
away.
wilt become
Leave
an
me
immaculate.
be. You're healthy. You need no cure. Please don't hurt a fluffy feather on my head. You have no need to. You don't have the right.
Well done indeed. You have made it far. You have felt the goddess's bane, and now you shall feel her boon. Kill ye this fowl and pour its ruby essence onto the altar, so that her blessing will cure thee of thine ails. But this cannot be. What is this heathen witchery? The rot is gone from your flesh, yet you have yet to partake in the blessings of the blood. Proceed, just proceed with the sacrifice. Kill the chicken, collect its blood, and yield it to the Star Stone. In the meantime, I need... I'll be back.
Go away. Please, go away. Leave me be. You're healthy. You need no cure. proud and healthy human. You are not sick. You are not poisoned. I beg of you, don't kill this humble chicken. Let me live and I'll lay you a fresh egg each and every morning. No sunny side up taste as good as mine do.
They are the blessings of the goddess wrought in action.
We're not sick or gravely injured, so I suppose there's no reason to slaughter this animal.
Doing so would be senseless cruelty indeed.
Holy hands, how I give you thanks, darling friend of fowl. Countless chicks would have been orphaned, but for you, bless you, oh, bless you.
There, the goddess's foe remains in her holy chambers. See what the Defiler has done. A starstone, ruined. The goddess's boon destroyed. Spill the blood of the profaner. May the lost one beg the goddess's mercy. Eternal heathens that undid the Starstone. Drain the blood from them. Render them unto the goddess.
See how fast she scuttles!
The red will of the goddess washes my sins away. red hill of the goddess washes my sins away.
Spirit of Blaze Eternal, materialize!
Waste not a drop, want not a drop.
assume you had good.
Go on! Like all the rest. I wouldn't walk through there unless you're in the mood to face a whole lot of Immaculates. But maybe you're one of them.
Look there, a portal.
Should we find out where it leads to?
Treasure! A peaceful wood. The caterwauling of cultists was making me ill.
Lakula seems fairly infested with Immaculates. I wouldn't count on a long respite.
Arthur, how jolly. There's something quite astounding you must see. It's the Weaver. Thanks to the Starstone you've collected, she's mended a portion of the tapestry. Look, a new story has been rewoven into time. A new portion of history appears to us for the first time in not even I know how long. Let us look together. Let us see what the Weaver has woven.
Long ago, two great generals led mankind in a terrible war. The dreaded Void Dragon threatened all of existence, and man and gods alike joined swords to stop it. The two generals were celebrated as the rulers of all, and even the gods paid them tribute.
I greet you, Honorable Master of the House. I am the Shepherd of Elements, and I control how they may flock towards your most imperial presence. So, if it pleases you, command me, and the elemental aspect of your choice shall once more settle among these holy halls. And that is your final choice?
Yes, it is.
Yes, indeed. That is our final choice.
Thy will be done.
With a degree of certainty.
Good gods, what an infernal heat!
Feels like we've landed inside the heart of the sun.
Guardians mustn't listen to him. His every word is poison, such as no serpent has ever known.
What radiance burns from your being? Enough to scorch even the likes of me, I find. And that is no small feat. Most impressive, yes, most impressive indeed. Why, I am a soldier of fire. And does this landscape not befit me? I have lived here for eons, since the first great peace, when the world as your kind know it was first secured. We were invited here by a great leader, I believe. Yes, a leader. I'm sure it was. The details, they crumble like ash when I try to grasp them in truth. But the radiance of that time has never left me. Victory, blazing victory, adorned our heads like a crown of glorious flames. I'm sure one as radiant as yourself must understand exactly what I mean. What do I know? Ha! Fire magic is me, and I am it. A far better question is, what would you like to know? Take care, my friend. Those who blaze brightly may find themselves targeted by darkness.
Good to see you on the shelter plane. A home away from home, is it not? Most certainly. That must be the Hall of Flames, mustn't it? You control the elements, Source Hunter, and fire is the most inherently destructive of them all. You can learn much there that will make even the Void sweat.
How might I serve our mission? Threads I weave and tales I see. All will I tell. He is the instigator. He is the beginning of all ends. The birth father of death and void. Be wary of him. I know not what is fear, and yet, afore him, I tremble. I know of him. The tapestry tells me all it can, and I know he knows you. This aspect of fire served you. In fact, he serves you still. He stood by your side on battlefields large as cities. Together, you overcame foes beyond comprehension. The threads tell me that once, oh, how many eons lie hidden in so small a word. I can clearly, but how can this be now that you stand before me a human, a mortal? How far has your soul fled from the being it used to be? Ask, and I shall answer, if I can.
I have the last chest, the last chest, the last...
You there! Your night ship! Oh, please, come to our aid! My wife and I are stranded here! Oh, we're refugees, my liege. Two of the far too few souls that managed to escape Hunter's Edge when the orcs invaded. We were hoping to reach Silverglen, but we were attacked by highwaymen. Those devils would have scalped and skewered us if it hadn't been for Alfie. Oh, the brave creature bit one of them in half, though not before being frightfully wounded himself. Oh, it was naught but a small stop for trading folk along the long road south to Sicil. Well, we got along all right, but now our little home's finally been undone. Orcs invaded, and the source hunter who was meant to protect us didn't save a one of us. Bravest beast of burden in the borough is Alfie, but the poor blighter's bleeding like a stuck pig and can't move no more. Which means we can't move no more either.
I can't believe we're stuck
Why,
here.
it would be folly to abandon a bandit killer in a wood full of bandits now, wouldn't it, your knightship? Besides, all our worldly wealth is strapped to his back. We'd be destitute without it. And yet, we can hardly stay here forever. Silverglen is close enough to see the chimney fumes from here. Mara absolutely refuses to leave Alfie's side, and like I said, I'm inclined to agree with her. If only a stout champion would, step up and lend us a hand. Oh, we'd be mighty grateful if you would escort us to Silverglen, your knightship. For it is our aim to set up shop there. A new smithy in a new town. Without Alfie, though, without the tools he carries, I'd be like a fisherman without his rod, grasping for salmon with his bare hands. Never could I produce the quality of work for which I'm renowned. Our predicament is clear, and the biggest problem is that Alfie's wounds are so dire, no ordinary healing potion will work. He needs... well, I don't know what he needs, but they say miracle cures are produced by the priests of Silverglen. Oh, we are, my liege, though like I said, it would grieve us dearly to leave Alfie behind.
You're right. We should try to heal Alfie first.
Indeed. He carries your belongings, after all.
I'm glad you've agreed Alfie needs to be saved before we can depart. Please leave no stone unturned in your search for a concoction that will heal his wounds. No! You're hurting him, Sir Knight! Oh, no wizard's tricks will... Oh, we are, my liege.
You're right.
Indeed.
Oh, I'm glad you've agreed. Dearest Alfie,
Oh, how good it is to see a human face in these odious woods filled with nightmares come real. Do forgive me if I seem a bit bedraggled, but we've had a frightful time of it of late. My husband Bjorn's a blacksmith, of some renown as a matter of fact, a favourite with the legionnaires that passed through Hunter's Edge, or used to, I should say. He hasn't a head for business though, and that's where I come in. We made a good living, he and I, in that quiet little town. Orc plunder now. What is there left to say, really? I could tell you it's more wholesome than Sicile, but then the orcs came. I could tell you it's cosy, that the people there are nice, but then the orcs came. All you'll find there now are broken dreams and broken bodies around orcish bonfires. Hunter's Edge? It no longer exists. Oh, I do hope you can heal dear Alfie. He deserves every care he can get after saving us so valiantly. Or perhaps he was just hungry. Still, the result is the same, isn't it?
Shock the car! I will freeze you where you stand.
Glory in this death.
Troll toll! Pay the toll, human, or I'll squeeze you like a funny yellow fruit. I am Grumble. And when I roar, the birds take flight. The airs head for the horizon. The goblins pray to their totems, and the earth itself thinks it's about to quake. So be forthcoming, human, or my roar will shatter your eardrums, and you will meet your death in crushing silence. Broken? What rot? The bridge is perfectly fine. Sturdy as if it was built yesterday. Oh, but you're trying to be clever, aren't you? You want me to turn so you can run without paying. Your tricks won't work, human. Pay, or I'll grind you like pepper. 1,000 gold coins buys you passage. Refuse, and I'll pound you so deep into the ground, the moles will take you for one of their own.
I think not, troll. Let's see what kind of stuff you're made of.
Let's teach this here troll there's no money to be had from us.
Those who refuse are my favourites. Time to wrench the life from your weak little frame.
hurt. I needed that.
Your fear.
catch any goblins that so much as look at us.
And allow each and all of them to our presence. Ah, what a fool you are!
Excuse me, madam.
Feel the burn!
Attack! Humans are attacking!
What is your bidding? We haven't time for this. The bridges are infested with goblins, and we can't alert each and all of them to our presence. Ah, what a fool you are!
Excuse me, madam.
Attack! Humans are attacking!
This death.
My foes.
Now I can endure anything.
To welcome you. Ooh.
I could do with a cold drink.
Potent heat.